Good evening. You are tuned in to an episode of What in the World is Steffi Girl Watching? And I'm getting ready to do the recap spoilers for Beauty in Black, Season 2, Episode 10, titled Playing for Keeps. In the background, I actually have it on. That'll kind of get me straight, even though I have my notes down here. So let's go ahead and get started. We know that the previous episode left off with Olivia telling Charles that she had what he needed done. It was done, but she needed the loot. Well, now she's sitting, having her drink. Black Hat broke down, but she's talking to the club guy. That's what I'm gonna call him. And she's talking to him real bold. He tells her to take it easy on the drinking. And she said, "Who the hell do you think you talking to?" You know how Miss Olivia, played by Debbie Morgan, how she gets down. And she called him a little bitch. So they're having a conversation, and he said something about the cops. She said, "I own the cops." And then she asked about his mom. He paused and took a minute, and she said she want that mess cleaned up. And he was like, "Well, my guy's cleaning even down to the drain." And she actually blamed him for the mess that they made over at Horace's spot. So she sent the guy to rob Horace, and that was unsuccess. That was unsuccessful. Horace laid just about all of them out over there, and she said she tired of excuses. And then she asked him about his sister. He took a pause and was kind of like, "Miss Olivia," and then she proceeded to cuss him out. Then we go to Roy is in Jules' office, and he decides to tell him that Barney is effing Charles. You know, he just lets that falls out of his mouth like that's common knowledge, and that none of them are protected in the will. And Jules doesn't believe him because he was like, "Well, how did you pull that off?" And he said, Roy said that he is going to get Rain, and Jules is like, he'll have to check this out. But he told Roy not to do anything. How do you think that went over? How do you think that went over? Jules was actually on a call, so he paused his call to listen to this mess. Over at the Bellary dinner table is Kimmy, Rain, Sylvie, and Angel, and they are eating dinner in silence. You can literally hear the silverware clinking on the plates. And Sylvie asked about Glenn, and Kimmy said they don't know anything. So she told Kimmy, "Call someone," and Kimmy told her no. And then Rain and Angel basically wanted to tell her to wait it out, and Sylvie clapped back with, "Was no?" They said it's probably best that they just waited out, and she said, "The stripper and the whore is telling me what's best." Kimmy said, "You better watch your mouth." And then Rain piped up, and Sylvie told her, "And you tried to kill him." And then Rain told her, "Well, you was effing him." And she told her, she said, "You." Sylvie told Rain, "You so vulgar." And Kimmy said she not having a disrespect. She talked to her about looking into some colleges and sending her away because she said that it's not safe. And Sylvie was like, she doesn't want to leave. And she said, "Oh, so you pushing me off like Mama did?" And she was like, "It feels like it." So she left the table, and Rain was even saying that she doesn't know if she's safe. And Angel had the nerve to open his mouth talking about that's some spoiled rich kid shit. And they basically told him, mm-mm, you know. Roy is on a call. I believe he was talking to Felicia or somebody he was trying to get with. And Charles comes in and he tells him he needs to talk. No, he said, "You weren't there for me earlier." And then he told him that he don't give a F about nothing. And Roy was like, "What is it?" And then he tells him that he has Varney by the balls and that he's gonna do whatever he wants him to do. And he said all kind of stuff to Charles. Charles never did get a chance to tell him what he needed. Finally, he told him. Roy said something about P, and Charles told him he would never have enough. And then he the last thing he said to him when he was at the door, he said, "You stupid." Roy got off his call and then did a couple of lines of coke in his office. That's all he does all day. Valerie and Varney are is at the club, and she's watching Felicia, and Varney is watching a Hispanic guy, some tight silver shorts on, and him and Mallory talk, and she calling him like bitch, and he just broke it down to her that all gay men don't like that and things what they don't like. So Mallory said, she knows all about the LGBT community, and Varney said, "So what am I?" And she told Varney he was a full queen, and they laughed and ordered some drinks. So when Felicia gets a break, she comes over to get Mallory to talk about what they need to. Charles is at Barney's. I guess they just walk into each other's homes or they have keys like they at home. So he's over at Barney's. Olivia called him and told him that it's done, but that cleanup is going to cost him $250,000. And Charles said he doesn't have it and asked her to cover it. And she told him he better get a loan, sell some of his cars, and do stuff. And she needed by Friday. So he calls Varney. Varney not picking up. He had to leave voicemail. Felicia took Mallory to VIP, and she wants her money before she even opens her mouth. So Mallory handed her the money, and she told that Kimmy would set up what they call a OL. I don't know what that stands for, but she said Kimmy wouldn't do right, and the guy wanted her to work at the club, but he didn't want his wife to know, and Mallory wanted a name. And Felicia started talking about dicks, and she is high. And Mallory snatched her money back because that was all the tea she gave her. And then she said, "Wait, wait." She said the guy's first bitch was named Jillian, and that Jillian left the club. Well, that perked up Mallory's ear. Take you back, and the first season, Jillian worked as Mallory's assistant. Uh huh. That Jillian that was with Calvin. And she also, she also, no, she showed her a picture to make sure she had the right girl. The girl said, yeah. And then she showed Felicia a picture of Roy, and she said, yeah, that's him. She said, that's my new whale. Now we know in the gambling arena, whale is high roller, big money. And she also told Mallory that she had screwed him and that he likes her. And Mallory was like, "Oh yeah, when and where?" And she was like, "Right here a couple of nights ago." And then Felicia asked Mallory, was she mad? And Mallory was like, "No, effing my husband, and we just sitting here all peachy and whatever." And I'm like, "Girl, Felicia, you in danger, girl, and you don't even know it." And she gave her the money back. The Hispanic guy is waiting outside the bathroom for Varney, and he's putting the moves on him. And he keeps calling him Poppy and told him that he has to pay. And he asked Barney, "Is you the lawyer dude?" So he already got a read on him. And something about him, he is real clingy and moving real fast. I don't like it. I don't trust him. And he told him that he needs help and that they could be friends with benefits. So Varney goes back out and he's with Mallory. Officer Alex is with Rain, and he was just saying how Jules had a bunch of questions, and she's kind of worried about about things, and of course she had to go with that Jappa end. I wish she would stop calling him that because he seems like he's kind of interested in her. I don't know what's it gonna be. Is it gonna be her or Mallory, or is he gonna be trying to do them both? I don't know. And Rain said they need to watch Angel, and he wanted to know, and he keeps asking us, why is Angel there? And she wouldn't get into it. She just said that him, Kimmy, and her are really close. And then he said, well, is he there because of one of y'all? And she was like, no. Angel's in the house, loud music. You never heard Mr. Bellery having loud music. So you up there dancing. And he told Rain he was going out, and Rain was telling him, you need to lay low. And she also talked to him about his spending. And then she pops out. She wants to buy the club. I don't know why she want that tacky club that trafficked them, in all this mess. Like he said, you want the dirt and the rats and the roaches. And he ain't lying, because her buying that club, I got a feeling is gonna have her entangled in some mess. And I wish she wouldn't have done that deal. And Angel told her about, I think, Delinda's son Giovanni. So Rain wants to go to the club with him because she wants to talk business. She a businesswoman now. Norman is calling Jules, and he wants to update about Harold the judge. And he told him it's been handled. He got the fire marshal to sign off on it. It was just an accident. So Norman gonna question him, well, why haven't I heard it on news? And Jules was like, they don't want to report it right now. So he did not tell Norman that he was there with his son. He just told him, I've been dealing with something. So Norman was real curious, like, why you sounding like that? And Jules still would not tell him, hey, I'm at the hospital with my son. Roy is at the club, and he pulls up, and the guy is brand new because he would have recognized that was the Bellery. He tries to entice Roy to go around back. It's 500, and we know what goes around at that back parking lot. Anything goes. And Rain and Angel are at another club. He parked in the car, and so they can walk in. VIP is $300, and he just paid it like it was nothing. That club is crowded, and it's ghetto. It has nice lights on the outside, but I didn't see what it was for you to be talking about VIP and popping bottles. I didn't see a VIP section. You was just in the crowd. Giovanni is there, and Angel was ordering bottles and just losing his mind. Barney's ready to go, and he tells Mallory, we need to go. And she said, why? He said, it's bewitching hour. Bewitching hour means it turns into an all-out orgy inside the club too. Anything goes at a certain hour. And Angel's posted up on the wall. Giovanni is high as all get out, and he's looking cray. And Rain is trying to talk business with him. And he was telling her, when she said that she wanted to buy the club, that they won't even let him see the books. And then, in between him about to fall over, he takes a glimpse of her BBL and was like, damn, you fine. He's trying to push her phone, and she's trying to get away from it. Mallory sent Varney to go get the car, and the Hispanic guy followed Varney out and gave him his number. Like I say, he's very pushy. And so the club guy from the robbery comes again, chewing him out. Get your ass back in the club or whatnot. So he talking bold to Varney, and Varney looking at him like, I know that voice. And he was one of the masked men. He was the one what came back with additional guys and robbed Charles. So Officer Traxton comes out, and Varney was like, who is that guy? He gives him his name. And so Roy is in the back effing another girl. Felicia was supposed to have been meeting somebody else around there and seeing that. So she pulls the girl off, and Roy decides to start with her. And when she pushed the other girl off, and Roy is doing Felicia, Mallory sees it and snatched up Felicia. Yes, she did. And it was one big mess, but she was already mad when Felicia was bold enough to tell her that she had messed with Roy. She was already over that. But to see that, just like she told him, don't disrespect me, and to see that in her face like that, that right there was too much. So that was the episode titled "Playing for Keeps." So again, Beauty in Black is number one on Netflix. They're doing a great job on social media, giving you some background on all the characters and some things that you didn't know. It's worth checking out. It's worth checking out. Now it's ratchet. It's it's ratchet, but it does have a storyline. You do get immersed in the characters, and I would suggest that last night I caught that new episode drop. You need to catch that one as well. Like I said, I'll be talking about that one in a couple of days. So that's it. That's all for What in the World is Steffi Girl Watching. Till the next time, peace.